Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. You join me here today on what's been quite a lovely afternoon actually, quite warm, a little bit humid now. It was sort of blue sky and fluffy white clouds earlier, but now it's sort of clouded over a bit and become a little bit humid, but lovely for working, and actually very we're starting to see some very nice halls and things that we planted ages ago come into fruition. None more so. We've taken the first of these globe artichokes here, so we picked a couple of those which will be very nice sort of steamed a little bit later. We've also got some this lemon verbena which is going crazy just down at the front of the plot there. This is very nice. If you've never had it, you just pick the fresh leaves, pour some boiling water over it, and it makes a very nice green type of tea. Very good for your stomach and very good for cleansing your blood, apparently. We're also on like the third haul of this. This is the biggest haul to date of the broad beans, and these have been fabulous. We had a couple of sort of smaller picks over the last couple of weeks, but now they're really sort of at their peak. So I've got another crate like this just over there, so we're going to be eating broad beans for the next few days, I think. But while that's all very interesting, you didn't tune in to hear about what the weather's been like in North London or what I picked, but those of you that watch regularly will know that I like to talk about those things because I am sitting in an allotment after all. But you've tuned in, of course, to find out about the whiskey and what the Allotment Dram is today. And today we've picked a brand new whiskey, literally came out a couple of days ago, and it's the Ardbeg Ardcore. This is the annual Ardbeg Day release from the Islay distillery, and Ardbeg Day is traditionally the final day of the Festival festival on the famous whisky island of Islay. So during that festival, all the distilleries have their own specific open day. Starts with Lagavulin and finishes traditionally with Ardbeg, and all the distilleries release special edition bottlings. So Ardbeg are no different, and they always come up with something quite quirky, as is Ardbeg's way, each year. And there's actually two editions of this. So this one is the Ardbeg Day edition, which is on a sort of general release, at the distillery, on Ardbeg's website, and also in some selected retailers around the world. And this is bottled at 46%. But then there is also the committee release, which is exclusive for Ardbeg committee members, which is essentially a free to join members stroke fan club for anything Ardbeg, and that's at 50.1%, so a touch higher, the sort of cask strength there. But the one I'm talking about today is the 46%, which is the Ardbeg Day edition. And what can I tell you about the whiskey itself? Well, firstly, the labelling is inspired by the sort of punk rock. Not really sure about any links, but it's said to be because it has a bit of bite and a bit of sort of punch and a bit of sort of aggressiveness to the whiskey, which is certainly true, because its unique thing is that it's the first Ardbeg to be made from what's called toasted black malt, so sometimes referred to as chocolate malt, which is more commonly used in brewing. And what happens is at the end of the malting process, they toast and roast the barley until it's almost black. It's like a really dark chocolatey brown, and in brewing it's used a lot in things like porters and stouts, and it gives you that really dark sort of colour as well. But it's very rarely used in whiskey. I mean, there's only Ardbeg is owned by Moët Hennessy, who also own Glenmorangie up in the North Highlands, and they use it in the Glenmorangie Signet, if you've ever had that. So it does give quite a different character. So very interesting to see how the big smokiness of Ardbeg and this chocolate malt comes together. But of course, with a whiskey, once you distill your fermented wash, instead of brew it, you get all that lovely dark colour in a nice stout or porter. Whereas of course when you distill that, it comes off clear, so you don't get that dark colour. And yeah, this is very, very interesting to see. We were very fortunate. We went to the Ardbeg Day event, which was in London, a couple of weeks before actual Ardbeg Day. Ardbeg Day itself was just this past Saturday on June the 4th, but we went to the event that was held in London a couple of weeks before that, and we managed to grab our bottle there, so we were lucky to do that. But you know, there's still a few bottles around in selected retailers. A number of them have sold out, including Ardbeg's own website, by the way, of this. And that committee release that I spoke about is also, you know, long gone. That was released some time before the actual Ardbeg Day, so that was gone. They were both actually, even though they were different strengths, they were both selling for £100. So obviously you can still get this. As I say, you'll need to hurry and you know, look around if you're interested, and you know, grab a bottle online if you can. But the committee release, I mean, as I say, long gone. That is, I've seen that on auction sites already going for £300, so triple the price already. So grinds my gears a bit that people buy these bottles, stick them straight on the first available auction. But you know, if you triple your money, you know, that's your choice, isn't it? You know, some people would do that. Some people will want to drink it, but that's a different argument for a different day. So I think without further ado, we should actually try this whiskey, as I've been waffling on for nearly 7 minutes now. So I've got my special little Ardbeg glass, which I, you know, very nicely picked up at the distillery when I went there last. So here you go. You see, very light in colour, very light, pale lemon yellow, but very smoky, immediately lifting out of the bottle. So what are we getting? This is very green, and I'm guessing, and this is not necessarily a negative always, but I'm guessing it's quite youthful. It's very vibrant, very green, lots of green apple, pear, a bit of vanilla under there, but the main thing coming through is this big, powerful smoke. It's got like a sort of ashy bonfire sort of thing mixed with some medicinal, you think of those surgical bandages, you've got maybe a drip of iodine. And then you've got also in the mix is like some damp earth and like damp moss or like drying seaweed, something like that. I think quite a biscuity thing quite late on. Very interesting, very powerful, punchy. I guess that's where the link with like punk rock music kind of comes in, because you know it's quite brash and quite, you know, sort of aggressive and so on, but all encapsulating. So let's have a taste. Wow, there's really no hiding place from this whiskey. That big punchy smoke, it's right there, and that dominates really. I'm struggling to get anything else other than this smoke. It's really, you know, it's ashy bonfire mixed with this sort of damp earth and sort of mossy vibe, bit of drying seaweed in there, and then this sort of, yeah, this sort of iodine medicinal quality. Only really now I'm getting some of this quite green, crisp green fruit that we spoke about for the nose, and some sweetness, you know, some much needed sweetness just starting to come through now in the form of like a golden syrup, like some runny honey. It's a bit of vanilla in there, because this is bourbon casks the whole way, I believe. So yeah, very interesting. Let's have another taste. Yeah, if you like peaty smoky whiskey and you like big peaty smoky whiskey, then I recommend getting online now and I'm trying to find a bottle of this because this is pretty punchy. It's pretty feisty. That youthfulness is a positive here because it means that the whiskey kind of powers through. But you know, it does dominate, and then it takes time for this sweetness and fruitiness to come through again. There's now just a little pinch of some quite warming, quite nice, delicate baking spices. There's also this sort of malty, biscuity quality, sort of much stronger. Once that smokiness starts to sort of dissipate a little bit, it's much sort of more biscuity and malty, and a bit of like chocolate and coffee. It's a bit sort of, let's say, mocha. Yeah, like a mocha, something like that. More on the chocolatey side than coffee, I would say, but yeah, dark, bitter chocolate. Yeah, but very, very nice. So yeah, I hope if you're interested, you've either got a bottle or you can find a bottle, because it's going to be gone pretty soon, this Ardbeg Day edition. But from myself and the Ardcore Ardbeg Day edition, 46%, we will bid you farewell. We will hopefully see you again for another Allotment Dram very soon. We hope you've enjoyed this one, but we will leave you to get on to do whatever you were doing before you stumbled across this video. So cheers from myself and the Ardbeg Ardcore, and we'll see you again very soon. Cheers.